Hello everyone, I hope we're all well. This is a different video and I'll explain why in a second. It'll take me probably a few minutes to get into all the details about this. But as you know, and you probably maybe don't know, but this month, particularly May, is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, particularly for Downer too. But of course, skin cancer affects a huge amount of people in Ireland and of course across the world too. And it's something that's not talked about maybe as much as other things like mental health. Of course, another important topic, of course, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of things that isn't talked about skin cancer and the signs of skin cancer and other issues like that that go underneath the radar for a lot of people. And a lot of people would ever never think of skin cancer, would never think that maybe their partners, etc., their husband or their wife or God forbid their children, etc., could have skin cancer. But it's something that unfortunately is prevalent in society and that does happen. And of course, and sadly in this case, I know the person that has skin cancer. Thankfully, she's on the up and up, and I'm delighted to hear that she's on the up and up. I'm glad that she's on the up and up. Because she is a great woman. She's one of the greatest teachers probably I've ever met, and that's very high praise. But she is a great teacher, and she helped me through a lot of difficult times. And she was always there for me. I always remember she came into the hospital when I was in the hospital, and I was going through tough times during my mental health crisis. And I still am very grateful. She was always there for me. Anytime I wanted her, always made time for me, regardless of how much she was going on in her life, etc. She always made time for me, and I always appreciate that. And I always have great respect for her because she's such a great person and such a great teacher, and he is a huge inspiration to me because he is a great person, and we need more people like her. And it's a pity if the world was a bit more like Joanna, and I still call her Miss Fox. I still always, even though she's married now and stuff, even though I call her Joanna Fox, Miss Fox, I would say we had a drill into us in school. To call people Miss and so etc. So it's still prevalent to this day. But Joanna, she's, as I say, great, and the young people of Cavan are very lucky to have such a great teacher like Joanna Fox, Miss Fox, as I say. Her married name now, but I can never think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, she unfortunately got skin cancer. But thankfully, again, she's on the up and up. And I do encourage you, and I should have probably said this at the beginning, to have a look at the article in the description. She given it to an Fermanagh newspaper, the Imperia in Fermanagh. I do recommend you having a look at that. And just reading it, if you have 3 minutes to spare, just have a read of it. Because unfortunately, the sad reality is, and Joanna says it in her interview, that she never thought it would happen to her. And again, unfortunately, the same thing with nearly everything in life. We never think it happened to us. We always see it in movies, we always see it online, etc. Would like it never happened to us, etc. But unfortunately, it can, and I think it's really, really important, particularly in the Awareness Month, to raise awareness. And I just want to commend Joanna for speaking up, because it takes guts to speak up, especially about topics like this. It takes extreme guts and extreme courage, and I just want to commend her. And I'm very what to say, fair play to her, because it's not easy to speak up, and to, especially with these issues, it's very difficult to speak up, to get the courage. And as she says in her article too, in her interview, may I say, about the anxiety and stuff. Of course, the anxiety and stuff, it's just it's the worst thing, just the not knowing, particularly in the early days, not knowing what it is, what's the problem, etc. That can eat you from the inside out, and I get that, I understand that, because we're all worried about something, we all are anxious about something that can eat you from the inside. But I'm glad she is on the up and up. She got surgery, etc., and she is on the up and up. And and again, thankfully, she's seen it. But the thing is, if a lot of people don't notice it and leave it too far too late, it could cause more issues. That's why it's always important. And I say to people straight, even with your partners, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it may be, check their backs, particularly their backs, and particularly the spine, around the spine, the back of the spine, etc. Look for any unusual marks, particularly black dots. It might look nothing, but it's important to check it out. And now I know people have things to do. If you have children, if you have work, etc., commitments, I understand it's not easy to get a few minutes, but do check. It's really, really important to have a look, and it's really important to have a look. And even there's areas of your back you can't really see. Even ask your partner, or even your friend. I know it sounds weird, but just to have a look, because it is a serious thing, and it's important to find it as early as possible if you do get it, skin cancer, because unfortunately it does affect a lot of people in Ireland, as I say. But do take a moment and do trust your instincts, because when you have that feeling, when you see something that's not right, trust your instincts on it, because it is really crucial to just see it as quick as possible. And of course, there's many other things, but never leave it. Never just say, "Oh, delay it," and when you see it, say, "I will wait for another time to go to the doctor," etc. But yeah, and I do think it's really important. I'm only going through half of what was said in the article and what I've read about it, etc. But I do think it's really, really important to talk about. And again, it can come in moles too. You can see the moles too. But I do think it's really, really important to listen to this we call her Joanna. I keep wanting to say Miss Fox because I'm so used to it, drilled into me. But I really do think you should take even 5 minutes just have a look at that article. Because it's important. It's something, and I would say to myself, it never could happen to me, or it's something could never happen to me. But unfortunate things, I've often said, "Oh, never happened to me. That never happened. Oh, this will never happen." And unfortunately, it does come. It does come. It does unfortunately come, and you never know, and you never see it coming, as she says in the article too. You never see it coming. You never think it would happen. But it's such a and it's especially because again, it's not a big. It wasn't a big mole, particularly she's seen on the corner of her hip. It was only 7 millimeters, which is small. It's a small, like black mole, pretty much brown mole, you would say. You never would think it's anything, but it's important to see about it because again, I know people would say about particularly the HSC, etc. You ring up a doctor, it could take 3 or 4 weeks to be seen to, but it's important to see about it. Do make that appointment, do make the effort. I know it's so hard with people with walking children. It's not easy, I understand that, but at the end of the day, your health is your wealth. At the end of the day, you could get a job in the morning, you could lose your job by going to your appointment, etc. But at the end of the day, you can always get another job. You can't get another life, unfortunately. That's just a sad reality. And the true reality, unfortunately, and you always put your health first. And again, any employer or any company or anything that doesn't, put your health first is not people that you should be working for. Because at the end of the day, your health is your wealth, and the simplest. And I think Joanna too, for me particularly, always taught me that. So if you ever hear me saying that, we blame Joanna for it. But no, she was a great person. She is a great person. I'm sorry that she had to go through this. I'm sorry that she did have to go through this. And again, I just show you this. I'm not really show it, but she sent me a nice Christmas card for Christmas too. I said to her a letter and stuff, wishing her a happy Christmas, of course. And of course, we needed to gloat about San Ramon, etc. Of course, we had to do that. But I thought it was really nice. And again, it's really, I'm not showing you the message inside, but really nice. She didn't have to go to the effort to write up a long message, but I do appreciate her writing back to me. It's very nice that she did. I wasn't expecting her to write back or anything, but I'm delighted that she did, and I'm delighted that she's on the up and up. And I'm sorry to hear that she had to go through this in the first place, but I'm delighted it hasn't stopped Joanna. Joanna's a very strong woman, and she's very determined, and very motivated. She can motivate people. She's great with young people particularly. So I'm delighted that she's on the up and up, and and I know I can't do much for her, but I'm always here if she ever needs any help, because she helped me a lot, and we always have to return the favour. And this is the thing in life too. If somebody helps you out, you always return the favour. So I do say, and I say to the young people, the last thing I say to the young people of Cavan, particularly the Cavan town area, people that go to the Breffni College, you're very, very lucky. You're very, very lucky to have such a great teacher. And I don't think you appreciate that. Like when I was younger too, when Joanna was, when I was in the hospital, etc., I still remember this. And I don't think I appreciated it back then, but you appreciate it now. But I always was very close with Joanna, and of course with some of the other teachers in school, but she was always very good to me, and true inspiration to us all. I wish there was more. If there was more teachers like Joanna in the world, we would have a great country, we would have a great place, and she's true inspiration to everybody in this county for what she went through and for speaking up. And again, it takes guts. I know myself. I I couldn't say I don't have the guts of that, but to speak up, to stand up and say, tell your story. It's not easy. It's for everybody to be looking at you and to stand up, particularly to get your name, particularly in such instances like this where it's of suffering and stuff. It's not easy. It's not easy. But as I say, I'm glad she's doing well. I'm glad she's on the up and up. And again, as I say, do please, and I think the main message is, do make sure to take heed from this. I do think it's important. I think I have taken a lot of heed from it too. Because last thing I say, I was very, very shocked. I didn't know anything about this at all until I seen it the other day. So I was very taken I was I was just totally shocked to see it. I never would, I just couldn't believe it, to be genuinely honest. I couldn't be like, for about 2 minutes I was a bit, just, I didn't know what to tell you, to be totally honest, because I was so shocked. That things like this can happen to such good people. I just couldn't comprehend it for about 2 minutes, that this was real, this was actually happening and stuff. But she is a great person, as I say, and I would ask you just to take 5 minutes to have a look of her article in the Empyrean again. I just want to thank Joanna. The last thing I say, I know I've said this a few times, but she is a great person, she's a great teacher, and I'm grateful for you, for all the things you've done for me, and she knows that, I'm sure. But she was truly one in a million, and it was a great honour to have her as a teacher. Thank you.